Alright, what's up guys? It's Exodus here, bringing you guys a video. And today's video is going to be on how to change the engine oil and engine oil filter. So the engine oil filter is located right here on this Honda CRF 150R. But it's mostly located there on almost every single 4-stroke. But that's that. And then the engine oil drain bolt, that's located down here, right there. And it's time to warm the bike up. You have to warm up the bike for around 5 minutes or so that way all the oil, depends what you're gonna do, the transmission oil and engine oil, so that way it move around and they're not just sitting there. And wait 15 minutes to let the bike cool down. Alright, so my bike is cool now. It's been about 20 minutes, I say. And I'm gonna list some things you need for this. So obviously you're gonna need a reusable, or it doesn't have to be reusable, but anything, an oil pan to keep your oil in. And then you're gonna need a rag. It doesn't matter if it's microfiber or if it's paper towels, but to clean any excess oil and prevent mess. And then you're gonna need a 12mm wrench socket, and then obviously the wrench. And then you're gonna need some gloves, or you don't have to, but I just don't want to have oily hands every day or for the rest of the day. So a torque wrench, you don't have to, but I have one because of the oil drain bolt. Where's the bolt? I don't want this bolt to fall off mid-lap or mid-jump or something at the track and have to buy a new one because I lost it. And then besides that, I have all my oil all over the place. So you don't want that. And then I'm rocking the Honda GM4 4-stroke oil with a K&N filter. So, yep. Alright, so now that it's been around 20 minutes or so, you're going to want to scoot over all your items that you're going to be using. So, take this cover off, and then put your gloves on for sure. And I'll put them on. Alright, just put on my gloves. And, so you're going to want your 12mm socket with your wrench, and you're gonna take off this bolt right there, and obviously go clockwise, lefty loosey righty tighty. And it doesn't matter if you get oil all over the place, no one's good at it. So yep, don't worry about that. So I've currently taken it off, haven't drained anything yet. Scoot this a little bit, and then it's gonna squirt out, and no one's quick enough to not get dirty. No one is quick enough to ever get dirty. Oh crap. And it's starting to loosen a little. All right, it's almost out. Yeah, you don't want to be having your warm bike because obviously you're gonna burn yourself with the oil. Even if it's been for so little, the engine heats up quick. So you don't want that. All right, I believe we are almost out. By the way, when you're taking off the drain bolt, be careful and hold on to it so that way it doesn't go inside of your oil pan. You don't want that because then it might be a struggle to take it out. Got it? And there's the oil coming out. All right, so now that most of the oil has come out, you're going to want to scoot this a little bit further. And from there, you're going to, that wasn't me, that was my glove. From there, you are going to want to grab your bike and lean it over. And as you can tell, more oil is spilling out. You want to do that to both sides, left and right. Maybe even shake it back a little, forth and backwards. So that way you drain all the oil. All right, now that your bike is not dripping any more oil, you're going to want to scoot this over to the left side of the bike and take your 8mm socket with your wrench. All right, so I got my 8mm socket with my wrench. And now that you're on this side, you want to scoot this almost not directly below the oil filter, but you're gonna want it somewhat below it. This is because the oil filter is also gonna be leaking oil once you open it up. So yep, it's gonna go lefty loosey, righty tighty, same as the other side. You hear it, and then you do one more. Boom. Loose as a goose. All right, same thing for this side. Whoops. All right, so you're gonna loosen these two up, and once they're both loosened up, you're gonna take them off and push with one finger, push the oil cover so that way it doesn't fall out yet, because you're gonna need to listen to the next steps. All right, guys, this is what it should look like. You got your spring on top, and this area where there's no hole or access for the oil to get in, and the bottom area with this black ring where the oil can get in. And then you put the spring on top, you get your cover, and you sandwich it basically. All right, so you've got this in there already, right? You get your tool, push this in ever so slightly, and then just start to twist the same way it came off. You don't want to tighten it all the way because you've still got your other one, so you're going to tighten it little so that way it doesn't come off. And then from here, where is it? Oh, you get your other one, the long one, goes on top. And then you twist it the same way. And it is gonna take a while. All right, so that's that. You would want to take off your gloves if you want to. With the paper towel, clean your hands if you got any oil in your hands, and clean the gear you have. In my case, it's the wrench and the sockets with an extension. So you want to clean it. And you don't want to tighten it all the way, even if you have both on. Well, in my case, I will, because I have a torque wrench, so I'm gonna torque it to its specific specifications. And if you don't have one, you could just tighten it to what you think is tight, but don't tighten it over, because then you're gonna be stripping the bolt, and that's just gonna be a pain. That's my old air filter right there, as you can see. K&N. And then, so you're gonna want to put your air filter right there. And then on the back, there's gonna be these three like holes on the cover. There's gonna be one right here, and one roughly around there. So you're gonna want those three holes to be pointing up. And then after you do that, you push it in. It's gonna be a little hard if it's the first time for the spring, but if it's not, then it shouldn't be a hassle. You put the cover on, you put the bottom hole, and then the top. But before you tighten it, don't over tighten it, because you don't want it to strip out. Alright, so I have finished torquing mine up to 7 foot-pounds of torque, which is what is said on the manual for both of these, which is the air filter cover bolts. So 7 foot-pounds of torque for those. So in my case, for those two, you're not going to tighten it all the way. And this is because, in my case, if you don't have a torque wrench, you don't have to do this. But just don't over tighten it, because you don't want to be stripping your bolts for your air filter cover. But in my case, I've got a torque wrench, and I'm going to be tightening my air filter cover bolts. Number 7. Go 7 over here. Oil filter cover bolts. Up to 7 foot-pounds for... What? Sorry. 7 foot-pounds of torque. And from there, that's what you're going to be tightening these two if you have a torque wrench. If not, as I mentioned, just don't over-tighten it and don't under-tighten it. Estimate around. You should be able to have a good sense of common sense to where to stop tightening it and how much it needs. And if you want to, you could be checking in on it every now and then, so that way it doesn't loosen up and it falls off on you. So yeah. All right, so up next we got our oil drain bolts, the one that we took out in the beginning. So we're gonna put this back on right now, so that way the oil doesn't fall out, obviously, when we put new oil. At this time, you can move over your oil pan. And I've got my torque wrench. You don't have to have one, but I have one, so that way it doesn't fall off, like I mentioned. And from here, I'm gonna torque it up to 14 foot-pounds of torque, which is what it said on the manual. And I'll notify you guys when I'm done doing that. I'm on the left side of the bike now, and you would want your stroke oil and your oil filter funnel. You don't have to have a funnel, but I have one because I am really bad at pouring this in like that. Even if it's just from here to there, I'd probably make a mess. So that's why I have a funnel. And you're gonna want to take this off. And once you have it off, you would pull it out and get yourself a paper towel, so that way you clean everything. Make sure there is no oil from the previous brand or anything on it. You want to put that dry, so that way you're not running. And in my case, I have a little bit of grime on the side, so you'd want to clean that a little too. So it makes it cleaner and easier for your next oil filter change, or whenever you put new oil on the bike. Alright, so from here, I just finished drying that up, and now you're left with a hole, some oil, and your funnel if you have one. So from here, you're gonna put your funnel in the hole, and in my case, since I replaced both the air filter and the oil, I will be putting in 570 milliliters of oil in my bike. So if you don't have it, as I mentioned, if you don't have to change the air filter, as I mentioned, you could use less oil. And you get your oil. Wow. Okay. So for me, it'll be all the way to 12. I have to drain it all the way to 12. So you get this. Let's see if I could do this with one hand. Okay. Whoa, whoa, getting a little squirrely there. Uh-oh. Yep. She's gonna drink a lot of it. Let it go in. Check again. It is always better to have more oil than less oil. And up. That should be enough. Yep, that's enough. So I was hand balancing. Now that it's on the floor, you can see it's roughly around 12. And there's some excess oil in here. All right. Just turned it on. Made sure the engine oil went in. Everything seems to be working fine. You gotta look for leaks around here, this area right here. And you've also got to look for leaks in the draining bolt area. And everything sounds to be working nice. Any clicks, any rubbing metal with metal might mean that there's no oil in that area. So you gotta look out for those noises. Other than that, thank you guys for watching.